It's True Hoop TV with Oklahoma City Thunder big man Nick Collison. Nick, how's it going?
It's going well. How are you?
Doing well. You guys are rolling. It doesn't matter who's on the floor for you guys. I think among critics, there's always this sense that Perk shouldn't be in the starting lineup, or this guy or Durant should play the four. But what's really interesting is it doesn't matter who's on the floor. You guys are uniformly devastating, and but you don't run a system along the lines of San Antonio. You've got some bread and butter stuff, but it's more ad hoc. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, I think so. I think we've had a stretch of 4 years of developing our team, our players, personnel-wise, but then also within the team, our execution. We've come a long way. When we started out, we had so many young guys learning how to play the NBA game, and we've grown a lot, but now we're picking up some things execution-wise in the sets we want to run. Some of the more subtle things we're able to do now that we couldn't do in the past just because we were just trying to get the basics down. So we've seen a lot of growth. I think that with us, that we've always had the talent and the guys with the ability to make plays, and so we want to take advantage of that and put them in positions for them to make plays. But the downside of that is we get too stagnant at times. So that's kind of the balance we've always been trying to find, and it's gone well so far this year. We made a lot of improvements, I feel like, in offensive execution, particularly where we're making the right reads and making the right plays, and our spacing has a lot to do with that too. So there's a lot that's gone into it.
I feel like I've seen a lot more second side stuff.
Mm-hmm.
When first options are taken away rather than just sort of going into iso ball.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what we've tried to get to, and that's how you have to play in the playoffs. We've seen that the last couple of years when we haven't been able to win these last series, the last 2 years, 3 years, obviously with the Lakers too, 3 years ago. But we found that we haven't been able to just beat guys one-on-one against the really good teams when we've had to do it. So we've had to execute and play on that second side. And we're getting better at it, and that's where we need growth, and that's what we knew coming into the season. That's what we're trying to get better at, and I think we have.
Regarding your role, is the term glue guy a backhanded compliment?
I don't know. I think I've said this before, that when you are the guy that does all the little things to help your team win, and then the team doesn't win, people just think you aren't very good. Like, that's kind of what I did when we were in Seattle and in the first year in Oklahoma City. But now that we're winning, you get noticed for that stuff more, and there's other guys in the league that do that type of stuff that probably don't get noticed as much. So I'll take any compliments I can get, whether they're backhanded or not. I'm secure in what I do, and I'm happy to be a part of a good team and helping the team win for sure.
Yeah, the reason I ask is, I remember you at Kansas, and you were a skill player. And in fact, I dug out this scouting report on you, headed into the 2003 draft, and I will read it to your chagrin.
Okay.
Collison was dominant in college. His 255-pound frame allowed him to get deep position in the post, and his polished footwork and soft touch helped him finish. On the perimeter, Collison was a big-time shooter, and he showed he could put the ball on the floor and drive the basket on occasion. Comparative upside, Juwan Howard, Troy Murphy. Comparative downside, Adam Keefe, Alan Henderson.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like I do those things at times, but just not a lot of times. I feel like I have the ability to do some things, and I've shown that some, but the usage isn't as high as it was in college for sure. And there's certain things that I've struggled with because, getting deep position and scoring in the post is more difficult, obviously, when guys are 7 feet and freakishly athletic and talented. And whereas in college, I was probably the same size as most of the guys I was going up against. So there's certain things that have translated, other things haven't. But I feel like I've adapted and found some other things I didn't do very well back then that I do now that have helped me play. So that's what the league's about, is finding your role, finding a place to fit in and be successful.
Yeah, because about a third of your scoring attempts happen on cuts, which is really unusual when you look at the classifications around the league. Like, there are not many guys that you can say that about.
Yeah, no, I think some of that has to do with who I'm playing with too. And when Kevin draws so much attention, there's opportunities for cuts from the weak side, things like that. And it's part of just finding your way. I think that's the biggest thing young players struggle with is adjusting and finding where you fit in, because it's, most of the league is made of guys who are scorers at a previous level. That's what they did. And then you get to the league and there's only, maybe 3 or 4 guys that they really run plays for, and got 3 or 4 guys that really isolate and try to go one-on-one. So the rest of the guys have to figure out how to be successful in other roles. So,
right.
And that's a tough thing for guys to do, and that's why I think you see some guys don't make it, don't stick, and other guys do. And a lot of it is what situation you get put into and how they use you, and then a lot of it is you and being able to figure that out for yourself.
Right, because some cuts are preordained in more structured environments, but generally speaking, a guy who's cutting is a guy who's just reading.
Yeah, exactly. I think you're trying to read what the defense is doing, and you have to cut at times. A lot of times, part of playing basketball and being a teammate is cutting when you know you're probably not going to get the ball, but you're making somebody pick you up so something's open on the weak side. And then as that relates to our team, there's a lot of those things that we had been missing in the past that we're getting better at. And it takes all 5 guys on a possession to get a good shot a lot of the times. And those are the subtleties of the game, I think, that our team has picked up and still needs work with. And then for me as a player, as I've gotten older, more experience, things that I've picked up, and it's helped me.